Superb. What are you laughing at, Joe?
No, nothing, Simon. Hi, how are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you all for joining us either live or the recorded playback, otherwise known as on demand, which Joe and my big sister were laughing at just before we came on. But this is a series of leadership and action sessions that I'm running. Gave myself the challenge of doing 12 of these over the year. Had great success for the first two, and it's just great to be at number 3. So welcome, Joe, to the stage.
Thanks.
I was going to say, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you very much, Simon, also known as Little Brother. Let's just get over that. So yeah, we're brother and sister, double act. Thank you for having me on there. I appreciate it. So as you know, I am a brand photographer. I'm also at heart a family photographer. For me, I've put myself as a storyteller there because that's what I do, whichever space I'm in, whoever I'm working with, if it's a brand, if it's a sole trader, if it's a family, I'm telling people stories. You know, photography is an amazing medium in which you can convey and tell lots of stories. The choice is yours, how you tell it, basically, which is amazing. I've had my business now for 10 years now. I'm in my 10th year. I know. Which I think, if I'm honest, if you'd have told me I was going to be running a photography business for 10 years ago, I probably would have laughed.
I was exactly the same about 3 hats. And
yeah, I know, it's bizarre, isn't it?
Because Joe's actually been a mentor for me since I started the business after redundancy. So yeah, I can't take all the credit, but yeah, obviously those conversations we've had and the support has definitely got to me to where I am today. So thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome, love. I think, so my background, give a bit of context where I come from, and particularly we're going to be talking about brand photography today. I've got a background in business, in agency side, so marketing, but operations and client servicing. So that led me into photography because I'm a bit of a geek, really, but don't tell anyone that. And I love light. So, you know, using a camera and writing with light, which is ultimately what you're doing with, you know, photography, that's fascinating. So I'm on a constant learning journey and improving my photography skills. But really, my belief is to be a good photographer, actually, your superpower is to bring the very, very best out in people. And to have that ability to create a space where people can truly communicate who they are as people. And, you know, that comes in really handy when you're trying to capture brand photography. Because let's face it, who likes being in front of the camera? I reckon if we did like a bit of a poll as to who actually likes being in the camera, I'd suggest 99% of people that go in front of my camera go, I hate being in front of the camera. Which I get, like, don't get me wrong, I get that. But it's important. It's really important, because when you're in business, or when you're presenting yourself to the world, and that, like I've said, there's so many different, you know, ways you use photography and present yourself. And, you know, oh God, I genuinely hate saying it, but I'm going to say, in an increasingly digital world, which, let's face it, we're in a digital world. It's not increasingly digital, it's digital.
Absolutely.
And you wouldn't dare walk into a networking meeting looking like you've just come off the plane on holiday. You wouldn't dream of walking into a business, particularly if you're a senior leader in a business. You just wouldn't do it. Why would you walk in somewhere not looking your best, or not being intentional in what you're wearing and how you present yourself? So my thing is why not use imagery to communicate, to take people, to take prospective clients, to take your team, to take the audience. And let's face it, as leaders, you have so many different audiences you are trying to
influence.
Thank you, that's the word. Influence, bring with you, You know, as a leader, I've learned so much actually as a business owner. And funnily enough, I never thought I'd be a business owner. I thought I didn't think I would ever work for myself. It's official now. I'm totally unemployable because I built the business. I built the business in such a way that it serves me, and like wealth comes in, you know, having been a leader of a team of about 30 people.
Yeah.
You know, you need to, wealth is not just financial. Wealth is our time. Wealth is how we spend, you know, our working day. Anyway, I'm digressing a lot. I hope some of this is helpful, but it just gives you a bit of context where I come from when we start talking about brand photography and the importance of it. I mean, I'm gonna feel passionate about it, but I always find it really interesting when you look at successful leaders. They have invested their time in coaching. I mean, when I see and I come across, because I work with a lot of senior leaders, execs, you know, all sorts of people, but they all invest in themselves first and foremost. And I think brand photography is something that you have to invest in.
Yeah,
it's you know, like it's. I mean, I feel like the audience that, you know, you're talking to, Simon, and the audience that I'm with, it's just non-negotiable. I think
that saying about a picture says 1,000 words, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you want to elevate yourself and you want to get, you know, on the, you know, onto a speaker panel, you want to elevate, you know, you want to move your career forward, you know, get a bank of images that you can use that save you time scratching around, going, oh, have I got that picture from so-and-so, you know, or I've got one picture, you know, get a bank of images that you can uniquely tell and authentically tell your story.
And what can you do that people can't do on their own? Because obviously everyone's got a mobile phone, the quality of the camera has gone up and all the rest of it. What are they essentially buying into when they work with you? What's the value that you provide over and above what they could do themselves or from another photographer?
Okay, let me, so I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, now I can turn my hand to pretty much anything, but there gets a point where you go, I'm not a specialist in this. I could build a website.
Yeah.
I could build a website, no problem. In fact, I've built several. But the moment that I decided to elevate what I was doing, I went, no, I can do it, but why would I do it? Why wouldn't I pay an expert who's a specialist to create that for me?
Yeah.
Point one.
Yeah.
I think from like a photography perspective, you know, guys, our job is to read light, okay? And everyone, let's face it, no one knows, like, you don't look at light the way a photographer looks at light. I mean, I find it fascinating. I was with another photographer the other last week who I adore, Nadine. And we were talking through doing some First Holy Communion pictures. And it was really fascinating to watch her. When I said, well, look, this is where I normally capture the images. There was like a light, there's a window. So imagine kind of like light streaming through a window. And I could see her literally watching the light, what the light was doing on my face as I moved into the light and back out of the light. Photographers just see light differently, and therefore we know how to make it look best. It's, you know, we don't spend a long time learning our trade to not be able to know, well, actually, if you create a shadow on someone's face like this, their nose is going to look massive. Or, you know, we know what we're doing. So from that perspective, I think the other thing, and having had my own images done, which again, you know, I'm no different. I don't like getting in front of the camera any more than anybody else because it's really like, it's just uncomfortable.
Well, to pause there, what do you think is the reason people don't like it? Just to dig into that a little bit, because it's obviously an important thing that, you know, through the work that they do with you, make them feel comfortable and make them feel, you know, that they are, you know, you draw out the authenticity. So,
Yeah.
so what is that? I know that obviously things like public speaking is probably one of the biggest fears that most people have. But what are your thoughts about, people coming in to work with you and the challenges that they have, even just to take the first shot?
And I guess that's the other thing. Like I said, go right back to the beginning, like a good photographer, and that will range from, it's like anything. You can, let me not go down that route, but you can buy from lots of different types of retailers, right?
Of course, yeah.
And you buy from different retailers because the experience is different, the quality is different, all of those different things like play into it.
Yeah.
I think going right back to my point at the beginning, that the camera and the photography is just a tool, right? So like a good photographer, that's like, you know that. It's like, well, somebody types out a letter. Well, we know how to take a decent photograph. It is that ability to draw the very best out of somebody and to create a safe space. And I say this particularly with my family photography. Like my job's to create a space of joy. Literally, that's what I do. I create a space where families can relax and they just experience joy. And then that's easy, because that's just taking pictures of that, which is like second nature to me. I love doing it. It brings me immense pleasure.
Yeah.
Thinking about different focal lenses, what does that do? Sort of the technical element of it. But for me, an amazing photographer creates a space whatever that space is, for that person to be authentic.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because during a shoot, normally sort of the first 10, 15 minutes, like everyone's like, oh my God, really, what we're doing here? This is all a bit fucking awkward. And then by the end, like, you love it. And it's a really empowering thing. It should be a really empowering thing. And people, I think it's also a British thing. I was talking to somebody else the other day and they were like, why don't people, take up? I think it's because it's very British. Because how could you just put yourself out there looking so good? Well, why shouldn't you? Absolutely. And I think from my perspective, just going briefly back to your answering, sorry, I'm going around a little bit like that.
Fine.
But answering, what do a photographer can help bring the very best out of you and create a space. And I worked with an amazing lady called Stefania. Oh my God, I adore her. And she said to me, the first thing, she's like, no, I don't, I can't do, don't want to do this, can't do this. By the end, and her pictures are beautiful. I mean, and this all never ceases to amaze me because she is stunning. Like, when I'm like, oh, I'd like to look like you, my love.
And you do. What are you talking about?
Thank you. I'll take that. But for me, it's that transformation piece, and it is that piece that you empower someone, particularly business photography. And it's about having fun, and it's trust. Bottom line is, you've got to find a photographer that you trust, and that's what I did. That's really what I did, and it's such an empowering. When you do it, it should be such an empowering experience. I truly believe that, because you're showing the world who you are as a leader, as a person, as a human being. It should translate your values, and that's what you can achieve. It's
that kind of heart-to-heart connection rather than the head.
Absolutely.
Particularly in an AI generation, I think people are getting very wise very, very quickly about what's auto-generated AI versus an authentic shot. And you're saying about kind of trust there, because that's absolute parallels in terms of what I do with senior executives. And as you well know, obviously there's some fairly famous personalities that you've taken photos for. You have to build trust very, very quickly because they are busy people.
So, I love that. Yeah.
Having the skills to kind of, make them feel comfortable, get ready for the shoot. I know you do a lot of planning in advance. It's not just to turn up on the day, but I think trust in any decision to buy a service, product, or person, because essentially people buy people. It's about having that ability to get on with anyone that comes in front of you, having a plan, making them feel comfortable. And then at the end, when they see their shots are either on their wall, their LinkedIn profile, or otherwise, they go, wow, that is amazing. And again, that's going to help them achieve their goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's trust.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I guess, at the heart of all of it. It's trust. And I'm really blessed to work with lots of incredible people. But that, to me, I hold that so dear to my heart, that people trust me and welcome me into their homes, into their places of business. It's not just transactional for me at all. I mean, that's why it's not a job. Like, I know that sounds like I cannot tell you how much I love what I do. It is not, if I'm feeling down in the dumps, I just have to jump on and start editing a shoot, because
Great.
I don't know. I do know. It's just, it's not a job. I get to just do what I love every day. It's brilliant.
Well, clearly, you're very passionate about it,
Oh, yeah.
and I think that kind of comes through with people if you do, because I a lot of the work that I do, I don't feel like it's work, because I just really enjoy helping people, kind of take barriers to success, whatever comes their way. We were talking actually just before we came on here about a brand and the importance of perception, particularly around marketing, and every contact they have, whether it's your website or you pick up the phone, or some of the fairs that you go to, or networking events, every single touch point, like a contact to your marketing, has to be on point, because as soon as you give someone a barrier, they'll go elsewhere. But if you make it easy, and you remove all those kind of like those problem areas or challenges or pain points, then they go, of course, because that service is going to really help them professionally and personally.
Absolutely. I know that you're right. It is that journey when people see you, you've just got to show up online. And I do not get it. I genuinely do not get it when I see poor headshots.
There's a few of those around. Describe what a poor headshot is.
Oh, come on. I mean, it's not like, it's not, it's like the sort of the holiday shot where you've cut out your partner, or it's a shot from like 10 years ago, and you'd literally be catfishing if you turned up at a networking event. I mean, I know I'm talking very directly here, but I can, because I'm talking to my brother, and clearly a lot of the whole of LinkedIn. But I just, come on. If you genuinely want to elevate yourself, show up well. Now, that doesn't always have to mean it's got to be the formal corporate headshot.
Right.
I and again, like, having come from a corporate background, I literally will try and do anything I can to steer away from the corporate, because I think you can say much more. I think you can say much more with something more than just the classic, okay, we've got a grey background or a white background behind us. And I know that some people might argue, because of the LinkedIn algorithm, if you should have a plain, simple white or coloured background on your headshot, because that does that. But I think when you're talking about sort of like speaker headshots, profile pictures wider, you can tell more of that story. And also, I think that I've got a little something about, well, I'm going to big something actually, about like female CEOs,
right,
that are in, they're in publications, they're in the papers, they're here, there, and everywhere. And, best the journalists will dig up images from anywhere. Why not give them a bank of decent images to pull from?
Yeah.
It makes no, invest in it. And so, yeah, there are any amazing, wonderful female CEOs out there, please get in touch, because do it. It's not, and men, but men just tend to do it. I think it's possibly more because it's a bit more of a sort of a tick box.
Okay.
And I think, and this is a wider conversation, I think females, the gender in like the C-suite, and that is a whole, that's a whole piece that can be discussed. And women presenting themselves as pretty or attractive or any things like that. So perhaps they don't embrace it because actually they're trying to navigate that without, the visual appearance, because actually we just get pulled up on it so often. And that's what people focus on, which is not, that's why I say it's a bigger, I have gone down a little bit of a sidetrack there, but it was important for me to say, because I think it's not just about, looking attractive or, it's about communicating who you are. And I think, when I work with people, we have a little bit of a laugh. It's like, okay, so give me the face that says you've got really bad news, but it's going to be okay. Do you know what I mean? There's so many different things that you might, nuances that you might want to communicate. And if you've got a bank of images that communicate your personal brand, and I mean, we have focused a lot on headshots here. I'm aware of that. So,
Yeah, well, I think two things there: storytelling and the importance of it, because that's what people remember rather than facts and detail.
Yeah.
And then you referred to the glass ceiling, which is obviously that kind of gender equality at board level. And actually, I've seen some research a little while ago now that says UK are doing quite well on that front. It's about 60% male versus 40% female. But of course, the natural split in the world is 50-50. So still a little bit more work to do. And maybe it'd be quite interesting for the audience to hear maybe a story you've got from working with someone at that level, at board level, or someone that wants to move into board level that needed your help.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think what I was with somebody, it was a while ago now, actually, and we were talking about it. And it was this piece we were discussing about, female CEOs and, presenting themselves right. And it was just to that point, there was a very high level CEO. I'm being very careful what I've said and what I've said, but it was her friend, and the Times had put this appalling shot of her. But I mean, it just wouldn't have happened if it was a bloke. And we were saying it was like, just wouldn't have happened, would it? No. But anyway, so, and I think it's an internal piece, and I think this whole AI generated. I've now segued slightly here. This whole AI generated headshots and brand content and things like that. It's not authentic. It's not. But more than that, deep down, as somebody, if one of your values is authenticity and integrity, why are we using an AI generated image?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not one of your values, then crack on. But I just don't think. I think you're missing a trick, or if you go down the AI route, you are missing a trick. So I have segued from that. But from a female leader perspective, I have been in a situation where someone said, "Make me look like a 7." I went, "What?" He said, "Yeah, make me look like a 7. I don't want it." And this, again, beautiful lady, but like, it's super, super high level, super intelligent. Like, I mean, and that's what I love about what I do, because I'm just like, this is incredible, because I get inspired by seeing these trailblazing women, these women that, I just admire. But yeah, just embrace it, people. I just think, it's not, you're missing a trick, particularly at a leadership level, to have a bank of images that somebody says to you, and you want to raise your profile. You just need a bank of images to get it done. It's like, stop, like, it will pay for itself. Just do it.
Yeah. So
sorry, go on.
It's okay. I was just thinking it might be helpful for you to kind of give a little bit of a roadmap from when you get an initial inquiry all the way through to kind of delivery of the results, whether that's frame pictures, whether that's digitals. What does that generally look like for you in terms of getting a really good outcome, getting those shots that you've talked about and the importance behind them and all the rest of it? So yeah, what's the process?
I mean, I think we were briefly talking about what my 3 top tips were. So we had some sort of like, there will be some output. And I think that what we decided what I decided
You
was
decided,
that
yeah.
like plan it, do it, and be authentic. You know, that they are that keep it real simple. So
Yeah.
from a process perspective, you know, for me, it's to help me achieve that. It's getting to know somebody. So if it's a family or a business owner, we'll either do an online meet where we get to connect. It's energy as well, right? Because you know, I'm going to be the person with this thing, you know, in front of you, and you've got to trust me. Again, goes back to trust. But we will have a consultation. I'll help with what to wear. That's always a, you know, an interesting one. And everyone's like, well, what do we wear? It's like, it's the first question anyone asks. I'm like, okay, don't worry, we cover that. So from a family perspective, I go and meet the children, because if I've got the children convinced, then
That's it.
Then everything else is happy days, right? I mean, you know, you've got a little one, I've got my two boys. You know, if we can get the kids okay, then everything else in the world is right.
Absolutely.
But yeah, from a brand perspective, and then we will do the shoot. And I kind of, because I love light, we tend to kind of like walk and talk, and I'll find gorgeous light, and we'll just, it's very relaxed, really relaxed. And then I take the images away, choose the very best. And it's interesting, once, you know, again, it goes back to that trust piece, that for me, my job is to present the very best versions. So there'll be a lot, there'll be like eyes closed, there'll be all sorts of ones that no one would ever want to be seen by anybody. They just go in the bin, and we choose the very best, and then talk them through, decide how we're going to use them, and then get using them.
Yeah, you even design kind of how to mount them on the wall if it's family photography. Is that right?
Oh yeah, no. My family work, that's my family work. It's print based. It's like installations. It's, you know, it's about enjoying your pictures every day. It's not about having them on a phone. Don't get me wrong. I love having them on the phone, and I love it when, like, you know, like Henry particularly, bless him, he'll come and we'll have a snuggle, and we'll just go through all the pictures, and we will just laugh, because we're like, what are we doing?
Lovely.
But like, I mean, you're like, I have images around my house, but I tend to have like, well, I mean, you've got this lot, which are all just like, it's you guys all behind me, basically. There's you and Josh. But like, you know, my gang, because like family is everything to me.
Yeah, true.
Like that connection and family is for me is everything. I mean, you know, I'm lucky that, you know, we're all a bit mental, but that's okay. I'm just wondering for the mums on, go, all right, mum.
Oh dear. So as we draw this thing to a conclusion, you shared those top tips, which is great. And I suppose what people might want to know is, how can they connect with you if there's something within this that they've taken away, or want to have a consultation with you, just to kind of pick your brains and all the rest of it? What's the best way of doing that?
Oh, LinkedIn me, just message me. And again, like, even if you're considering it, or, you know, maybe not considering it, or even want to just chat, you know, what I've then, like, DM me, because I love talking about it, and I'm more than happy to advise, just have like a, you know, an initial chat, but get on the journey, just get it done. It should be just something that's done. And I know that it's, you know, can be quite anxiety provoking, but once it's done, you've got images that, you know, you will love and use, and will show yourself in the best light in the world, is basically what we're all about.
What's your Instagram account? Because obviously you put a lot of your kind of images on there. So if people, before speaking to you, want to see a bit of the work that you've done, what's your kind of Instagram?
Yeah, so like on LinkedIn, it'll be all my largely my business photography, and on Instagram I'm Jo Robbins Photography. But yeah, feel free to like connect. I love it, and it's great because I love connecting with people, because I'm a great believer in networking and helping and serving, and you know, pointing people in the right directions and connecting people, because that's kind of how we all do it, really. We help each other, and you never know when you can help somebody else or when they'll be able to help you.
Pay it forward.
Absolutely.
So I'm just going to use a coaching question I always end a consult with, which is there anything else you want to think, feel, or say?
Oh, I think I'm okay for the moment. What would I like to feel? I think it's, I hope it's been, I feel like I've, I feel really passionate about, photography and storytelling, because I think it's such a powerful medium to connect with people. I hope it's been helpful. I feel like we've covered lots.
We have lots of ground.
But yeah, I mean, my tips are just plan it. Know what you want to say with your images. If it's a headshot or if it's a full suite of brand images, plan it. Think it through. How are you going to use it? If you do that before your session, then afterwards it's going to be, you'll just know what you're going to be using them for. And then do it, and then make sure it's authentic.
Happy days. Well, thank you, Jo. Thank you, Big Sis, for coming on. I've really enjoyed having you on.
Thank you, Simon.
And and just as a bit of a heads up, we've got another fantastic guest on for next month, which is David Reed from Because Brands Matter. So hope you've enjoyed it. Send me a LinkedIn message, email, or comment on the post. And thanks again for your time. Bye for now.
Sorry, I've just thought of something. Okay. I'm going to try and come up to Edinburgh at some point to do a headshot morning.
Yes.
So if anybody is in, wants to take it up and actually get the headshot updated, I'll be sending you a little date that'll be up there. And if there's enough interest, I will wing my way up, and then I get to see my brother as well. So it's a win-win.
all for that. Thanks, Jimmy.
You're welcome. Thanks, Simon.
Bye for now.
Bye.